Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of AniSaturday. I'm Matt and I'm here along with...
Tristan.
So, Tristan, we are talking about something that I don't know if we ever thought it would come out. I mean, obviously with how good Super Broly was in terms of like in the box office, of course they were going to keep on making Dragon Ball stuff.
There was always going to be another movie.
Right, of course, but I didn't know how that would manifest itself.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like if it was going to be a movie, TV series. I mean, obviously, I say obviously, but it can sometimes not be so obvious. Super Broly came out in 2019 of January before the pandemic, so that also definitely hindered I would imagine the time working on the movie because yes, it is. Obviously it isn't like a video game or something like that, and it can be done remotely, but still with how much work went into this, the first ever fully 3D CG Dragon Ball Z film, or Dragon Ball film in general, it definitely you can just see like it probably took a long time, especially with any like COVID restrictions or things like that. So having that 3-year gap, a little over 3 years.
It's like trying to work with a bunch of exploding Cybermen.
You just made me think, like, wait a minute, hold on. Were there exploding Cybermen in the movie? I was actually thinking about it. Because I didn't have notes. Actually, this is also the first movie theater I've been to since pre-pandemic, when you and I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters, which we podcasted on for Friday Night Movies a while back.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, no, because I saw that with you. You know me, I only want to go to the cheapest ones possible. So Satish invited me because he was like, your birthday's coming up, so I'll just, I'll pay for your ticket. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah. Especially
Satish,
because...
you were the superhero all along.
Satish, you were the superhero. I now want him to listen to this one, be like, oh wow, Matt talked about it, and then just hear us call him the superhero within a few minutes. Satish has worked with us for a longtime friend of mine. You still have yet to meet him, but we should try to make something like that work out. Because what happened was, he and I and a friend who will not be named because of the fact that they do not like Dragon Ball at all, so I don't know if this person wants me to out them. I feel like they would not give a shit, but I haven't cleared it with them, so I just want to be... And when I say don't give a shit, I mean that would be their quote. I don't give a shit. But, like, I don't like Dragon Ball. I don't care. But I don't want to out this person.
Remain anonymous, like the Red Ribbon Army behind its pseudo company.
I don't know if I want to do it like that, but I haven't cleared it with them, so I don't want to put them on blast here. But basically, It was me, Satish, and this other person, and it's really funny because I asked him, I was like, so then, why are you here? And they were like, well, Satish asked me, and I was like, all right. Also, it was matinee prices, so it was significantly cheaper, and it was local for the two of them. So,
I also had a similar situation to my theater experience.
Right,
I was
yes.
going with 2 other friends who were fans of Dragon Ball and one other who was not really. And he's like, I just wanted to hang out with you guys. And I'm like, the more, the merrier.
And what's beautiful is we both had the same experience in that person, both for you and I, came out of it saying, wow, I really like that movie.
Yeah.
And it is absurd.
Slice of life Piccolo for the win.
Yeah, and by the way, this review will have spoilers. And of course, we should probably name drop it very early on. Normally we do it much earlier, but we started just talking about everything else first. We're talking about Dragon Ball Superhero.
It's been so long.
It has, well, it's funny. I think it has been long for everyone else as well. I say this because you and I... when we podcasted last, and also to be fair, when we podcasted last, we had seen the film like right before, or at least I did right before the podcast. It's a little weird not having, because you're in a theater, you don't really have the ability to write down notes. You don't want to be the asshole with the cell phone shining, and so and you just can't see to write down notes. So like I'm going into this very much noteless, right? I have seen it about a little over a week, I think, has it been? I don't remember. Time is weird.
Might be closer to 2.
For you, yes, not for me.
Oh,
We did not
yes,
see it
right.
at the same time.
True.
Tristan's still like, we saw it at the same theater. Matt was there. Just a cardboard cutout of me. But yeah, so when it came to this movie,
You were there in my Genki Dama.
yes, that in your spirit bomb. What?
Exactly.
Speaking of spirit bombs,
I know what I said.
Speaking of spirit bombs, I'm very happy, and yes, happy to all of you out there, that we had a movie without Goku and Vegeta kind of in the spotlight in the Genki
So was
Dama.
Yeah.
It has to happen at some point. It would be weird if it happened for like an entire season of a show or something like that. So,
Yeah.
but for a movie,
Perfect.
yes, absolutely perfect. Of course, you have them there. It's not like they
Oh,
weren't in
yeah.
the movie at all.
Yeah, it was nice to get to see them cameo, just hanging out on Beerus' planet training.
And it makes sense.
Broly's there as well, and Chila and Lemu are there too.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense because if you're not going to have a television show to give them any kind of depth of any kind in terms of at least
Right.
how they train and their powers and whatnot, then you kind of have to have a movie like partially do that. And it would have been really silly to have an entire training movie.
Right.
That would have just been it would have been maybe nice to see like, oh no, Broly's there training with them, fighting, controlling his power. But honestly, we don't need to see that, at least as like a full-on feature-length film.
Right. And to be fair, they are technically developing powers like in the manga, but I don't want to spoil that for you.
Yes,
And that's
and everyone
still
else
slightly
too,
different.
and
Yeah.
everyone else as well. Yeah, the manga, I don't know how it would tie into this at all.
Yeah. Right. I don't know either.
It's one of those things where I'm sure if there was an anime, I made this joke, but I was kind of serious about it. Last time when we finished talking about Super all those years ago, it's been a very long time since Super ended.
Yeah.
I made the joke about it coming back as Dragon Ball Super Z, and I was not in any way saying, and even now not saying that I was original. All right, other people I'm sure have made that joke to death. But I do imagine it one day coming back, and just like with Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, they will adapt Broly and this film into it, and then take some of what the manga is now doing and find a way to weave it all in and make sense. I'm sure.
Right, yeah.
Somehow. I don't know how, but I'm sure they will. But and we're not going to spoil it outside, other than that. But just yes, they are the manga. If you don't know, still going, all right, and it is now gone way past anime canon, if you even want to call it canon, and it's just doing its own thing. So that'll be very interesting to see, especially. I'm not gonna because I know very little, but I still don't want to spoil it. With Piccolo's new powers as a Namekian. It's very interesting. And also, by the way, just having that shine, like I mentioned earlier, moving away from Goku and Vegeta to Piccolo and Gohan, this is something that Toriyama himself, seemingly wanted to do years ago, at least with Gohan.
Right.
And it's very happy to see that, even if the design is what it is. I have some words on the design of Gohan's new form. I still love that it was done either way. It needed to be done. It's something that, the series has to move forward, and it can't just move forward with Goku until you and I are dead.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it still could.
It could. I would just prefer not.
I'd prefer it not either, but,
yes. So if you're still going to continue the story, I'm very happy that they were given the spotlight, especially with the Red Ribbon Army coming back, because it's funny. Some people say that, even Toriyama himself thought that they weren't as featured, but because of the fact that when I started watching Dragon Ball Z, I didn't know about the Red Ribbon Army, but they did mention them with Jiro, and the Android and Cell saga was so long. Especially when they changed how they aired the show for a little bit. I think it was a bit like they didn't do it. They did it daily, but still, I believe just the saga in general is so much longer. Oh, because also earlier Ocean Dub. You and I were watching it on Toonami back in the day. Ocean Dub, they cut up episodes where Funimation kind of stayed closer to keeping in the filler and and not really cutting things up once they had the rights and were doing, the latter half, the end of the Frieza saga and starting the Android and Cell saga. So for me, the Red Ribbon Army actually is important, very fucking important.
Yeah, same.
But it's
I love
funny.
I love the fact that the movie even calls you out, just being like, if you were around or if you were around when if you're old enough to remember the Red Ribbon Army, I'm like, hey.
Right, yes, you and I both saw the dub, and the narrator was like, if you are able to have senior benefits, maybe, just maybe, you remember the Red Ribbon Army.
I'm pretty sure my friend made that same exact joke too.
That sounds about right. Are you eligible to remember the Red Ribbon Army? Yeah, it's one of those things. But by the way, I love the opening as well, because what happened is the opening 5-minute sequence with it was animated in a different style, beautiful style, but different than the movie itself. So it kind of felt,
yeah, it was more 2D.
I liked it because it felt like it was different enough that it wasn't trying to be the film.
Right.
It was a nice little. It was
a flashback. Yeah.
Yes, it was a flashback, but it was done in a way that, I don't know, just felt right.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Just seeing hey, remember when Goku kicked the crap out of an entire army and kicked a grenade back at a dude? That was cool.
Anyway.
Meanwhile,
but so I enjoyed that though, because while Satish prepped our friend for the film, because again, friend doesn't like Dragon Ball, so was showing them videos on oh, this is someone just summarizing the series before you go see Superhero,
right,
on YouTube or something. And so I walked in on that and I was like, what? And it was Satish was like, yeah, so and so's never seen Dragon Ball, or I'm sorry, never seen Super. And I was like, oh. And he was like, and the other person was like, yeah, not a fan of Dragon Ball. And I was like, I have to pick your brain. But either way, it was really nice to have that 5-minute cameo, because that wasn't, I don't believe that was in the catch up to watch Super video. I don't know if it was exclusively to catch up for Dragon Ball Superhero or just Satish found it.
Right, yeah.
So it was just a general Super summary video. So it was nice because that other person did not know about the Red Ribbon Army. We asked them. It's like, did you know? And they were like, no. And I was like, perfect. That was one, because you have to expect that, people are going to be taking their 5-year-olds that I'm sure they had seen Dragon Ball Z, whatever, but, that's a lot to cover.
Yeah, true.
So maybe they just didn't. Maybe this is their first, when you look at how well Superhero is doing in the U.S. right now, box office-wise, I believe it was 20 million?
Yes, 21, somewhere in there.
Yes, and very, very high, specifically for an anime film.
Oh yeah.
That's what, everything was, all the articles were popping up online about that. And I mentioned this because of the fact that, you potentially have some people here who are, some of them might just be new, right? Which is awesome. Happy to have new Dragon Ball fans watching these movies in theaters. Maybe this is their first anime movie in front of us. There were some people that looked like they were in their 20s, but some that straight up looked like they were taking their younger sisters.
Right, yeah.
And 13-ish, 14, 15. I was like, oh my god. I saw one girl, and it was absurd because she vaguely looked ish. She popped in from 2007 with a time machine.
Oh my god.
That was her outfit, and I was like, oh my god, this is absurd.
Right.
The kids are all right.
Yeah.
Still doing the fucking the anime kawaii shit. That was her attire.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, this is fucking fantastic. Nature lives on. Life finds a way.
Oh my god.
We're all good. No, that was very much look, man, I'm pushing 30. So I know that there are younger anime fans out there, but I don't want them to be the ones wearing the fucking, and look, nothing wrong with y'all, but I'm just saying, seeing a teenager wearing an Ahegao hoodie makes me want to die. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's a mood.
Right. So it's just very interesting seeing them just, like I said, literally looking like she popped out of a time machine from 07.
Right.
it was just like, your first anime may have been Death Note.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it was just really funny, and so that might have been their first time watching an anime film in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, when I went and saw it in theaters, the theater was packed. Was
thankfully
great.
ours was not, because I am still worried about
yeah.
the COVID menace.
Yes, not great on that side, but great in the sense of doing well for the franchise.
No, very much so. Yes, ours was not heavily packed, but again, it was a smaller local place, and matinee prices. So I was very happy about that. I was like, thank God. But they fucking got the seats, like, because it was all assigned seating right before us, and one of them coughed, and they were coughing a lot, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to fight someone in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I'm gonna have to throw down,
and you're gonna have the onomatopoeia pop up in the background behind you as you pose, as you curb stomp them.
This movie worked because of its comedy, and not that Dragon Ball as a franchise doesn't have good comedy, but I have to say though that a lot of, like, I've been going back and reading some of the earlier manga, so much of it is dated and entrenched in stuff that very much flew at the time,
right,
and just doesn't anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so I'm glad in this that they were actually able to have like gag moments, but have it be lighthearted and still fit the series, but not be like old gags that are like, that's really dated nowadays. Please stop doing that.
Yeah, like it's just one of those things where it felt like it was something that anyone can laugh at. It's just very accessible. And when it came to a lot of the references, none of them seemed to really bog anything down, because they were references that Satish and I could pick up. Hell, we had to explain to our friend the line cutting through Gohan when he transformed.
Right.
How that was a reference to him turning Super Saiyan 2. The other person didn't know.
Right, yeah.
They had seen enough of Dragon Ball to go, okay, this is what I don't like. They had discussed it clearly with other people to know, they were telling me like, oh, I don't really like how formulaic it is, but it's funny how they don't know the Gohan thing. So I'm like, how much of it have you watched? But I'm not going to be a dick to them about it. But I was genuinely curious because they were going on about the state of it now. And I was like, huh. I was like, you haven't seen the Gohan scene? And they were like, no. And I was like, wow. But I wasn't going to be, again, a dick about it, because I know that there are too many. It's Dragon Ball. There have to be too many people that tell them, I will strap you down and make you watch it. And it's like, no.
Right, yeah.
You want to know how I know he's going to come around? You want to know how I know? After seeing this film, the person said to me, man, I heard that Dragon Ball Super Broly was good, especially that one scene with the, the crazy visuals. Yeah, they were like, it's kind of like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That's what I said, and they were like, yeah, exactly, just like that, because they love Marvel. And I was just like, yeah. And they were like, how do I check that out? And I was like, Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, I believe it's merged with Funimation, from what I've heard. So that was me. But seriously, there were enough references that someone like you and I, the connoisseur, all right, we're swirling around wine with little tiny Dragon Balls in it. We're the connoisseurs.
Damn it, I would buy that.
I would not. I'd choke on it. I would choke on the Dragon
happily
Ball.
Choke on it.
All right. Tristan has been quoted as saying he would happily choke on a dragon's balls.
God damn it.
Next up, in non-ball related news.
Well, wait, I could collect the Dragon Balls, go back in time, wish I'd never said that, and that you have no memory of it. It would still be.
You already collected them. You drank all 7. They're in your bowels. Just ask the Eternal Dragon to be summoned. He's gonna pop out of your fucking mouth.
All right.
He's gonna pop out of your stomach like a fucking like in the Alien film.
Shenron, please kill me. Your wish is granted.
Pops through your stomach.
Farewell.
Oh, hey Tristan, what's up?
Hey God, how's it going? I'm not God anymore. Come on, guys.
Little stuff like that, which, I mean, the dragon has been doing for the last 2 films, but it never, it's something that never doesn't make me laugh. Like, I'm just constantly loving that. Also,
I love Shenron, too, coming out, because he looked a lot more closer to his original like Dragon Ball Run showing too.
Right. And something
Which I kind
mention-
of love all the iterations of him, but it was just kind of a nice detail. I was like, oh, he's a little bit smaller, but like, he's right up in your face. He's right there.
That's actually a good point. I didn't notice that. A lot of little things here and there, and I do think we have to mention some of the big things, though. One of them being that we have a bunch of new characters here that don't completely feel out of place. The only thing that felt strange to me when you look at both characters is how they're androids, but they very much look more robot-like than 17, 18, or 16. Or even, I think it's 21. Is she from Super? Or not Super, is she from Fighter Z?
Yes, that's another thing. Like, depending on where this movie falls into quote-unquote canon, but that kind of brings legitimacy to Android 21's character.
Well,
a little bit more anyway.
Right. No, her. Okay, so I'm curious about this one. I'm sure you've researched it more than I have. She looks like Jiro's wife.
Yes.
He modeled her after. Or does that get into fan canon territory?
No, I think it's. I mean, they have a kid together, which is 16, and then Jiro models an android after his son, making 16.
Oh wait, so six, his son, who is Android,
yes.
His son looks like the future Android 16. Not
yes.
He made his son into 16.
No. His son was in the Red Ribbon Army when Goku destroyed it. Like, he died in that attack. So then Jiro modeled. It's not specifically laid out, at least not that I know of, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, like, oh, he is based off of his son. I think it might be specifically said somewhere, but I don't know where.
I don't remember if we saw the son.
No, you never do. No.
But we saw the wife, and we're like, wait, that's literally 21.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly how 21 becomes an android.
Okay, but
I don't remember if that was in the plot line of Fighter Z, or because it's been a while since I played it. But yeah,
I was never able to continue with it because as someone who played fighting games a lot when I was a kid, my hands are not what they used to be, and that sounds so silly because the rest of my body is like, you can fight, but my hands are like, you should take an ibuprofen. I can't do Fighter Z for more than a round.
Right.
And I can play a lot of video games for a long time, but fucking not Fighter Z for more than a round. It's absurd. And it's nothing against the game. It's just my hands aren't what they used to be. Can't do a lot of fighters anymore. Really got to lean into those, tactical RPGs, turn-based RPGs, things that don't require me to just constantly fucking button mash
inputs. Dem inputs.
Yeah. But when it comes to, other new characters that have been introduced, like I was saying about, Gamma 1 and 2, I love their design as someone who loves Kamen Rider, and just loves superheroes in general, but it definitely made them feel out of place. Like, they were very, like, Ultraman Kamen Rider inspired, which is very out of place in terms of their, like, them looking like genuine robots.
Yeah,
and still being
and
called
I think
androids.
That's always been a mistake that series has made.
Not necessarily.
Although not in no, that's true. Only in the dub, really, because in
no, I'm pretty sure. Well, no, but because here's the thing.
Because I'm pretty sure 17 and 18 are referred to as cyborgs in Japanese, but.
Well, that's the thing. It's all about the translation. I'm pretty sure they're Jigo Kuningen, which is arguably, I'm pretty sure the same way
artificial human.
Yeah. Which
could be anything.
Well, let me make sure I get this right, because the thing is, I want to make sure, because if Kamen Rider is referred to as the same, that oddly is important, because Kamen Rider, as Tristan knows, if any of you don't know, I'll explain in a second, but Kamen Rider, as you know, Tristan, is a modified human.
Right, yeah.
He's a human person.
Yeah.
Who was modified for evil, but wasn't evil, and then, which, by the way, very much reflects Gamma 1 and 2.
Gamma 1 and 2.
Hilariously so.
And I feel like that's kind of the point they're making with their designs too, even showing that Dr. Hedo is different than Giro. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I admit that the man was brilliant, but he was a maniacal maniac, and I kind of hate him, and I really don't want to have my work be associated with his or reflect his ideals in any way. So like, it's poignant that his creations look a lot different than Giro's.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
literally
I
wants
feel
to
the
make
exact
them look
same
like
way.
superheroes.
Yeah, I feel the same way that you do about that. So like, you wanna work together? I also feel
Magenta.
the same way. You don't like him. I don't like him. You use the name.
Oh.
Yeah. The name red. A lot of things are red. So do you wanna?
The fact that Magenta spun it into a conspiracy theory that Bulma was working with aliens to take over the world, I lost my shit. I almost laughed so hard.
You want to know why? Because I sat there and I was like, honestly, in any other situation,
yeah, it would kind of feel that way.
Well, it's not even about the alien part. It's more so she runs a corporation and everything relies on them and their technology. Like
they got capsules from aliens.
No, but I'm saying any Capsule Corp ad, right, would look very dystopian.
Right, and the fact that they just have people flying in and out of their home at all times of the day, I was like, oh shit.
I was wondering when that would ever be addressed, even like as a joke, because people have said it a little bits here and there. Oh, the Capsule Corporation? Oh, they're making all these inventions and stuff.
It's just Dr. Brief's crazy experiments again. They even made a joke about that in the anime when they called the Namekian dragon, and everyone's like, oh my god, it's a giant dragon! And they're like, it's from Capsule Corp, it's fine. And everybody just went about their day.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Brief. Do you know what a non-disclosure agreement means? Anyway, here's some money. Sign the document. You'll be fine.
And shut up.
Dad, stop doing that. We're just telling them they're experiments. You never know, honey. Just saying.
Oh my god.
Might be best. Might be best. Wife is like, you're making them sign NDAs? That's so sweet. What the fuck? Like, wait, what?
It's actually funny we didn't see a cameo of them.
Honestly, I'm happy of most of the cameos that we didn't see, because you really had to tighten things up.
Right, yeah, it would have gotten bogged down otherwise. I just figured like a shot of them in the background or something when Bulma was on the phone with Piccolo, which was fucking adorable and hilarious.
It's funny. I will admit, I used to be the kind of person that would be like, oh, why did we not see cameos from Tien or Yamcha? Especially when the series was first starting to pick up traction again.
Right.
But now I'm like, honestly, like, again, if it gets adapted into a TV show, they should be there. There should be random Jiro drones, like, looking like those little things from the World's Strongest.
Yeah.
Around the Earth.
Right. Or even when they do the flashback for Jiro's, like, spy bugs.
Yes. Something like that should happen. And then Tien and Yamcha are elsewhere. Even Roshi can get a hit or two. They're somewhere else. And then that happens, right? But for a movie, keep it tight.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
The only one, and I know you agree with me on this, we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, Videl not having as much of a role. That is only frustrating because if you didn't lean so heavily on Pan, and again, you're leaning on Pan the same way that anyone would lean on someone that Gohan loves to, get him to go further beyond, but also you don't want to turn Videl into a damsel in distress, especially with, the fact that she literally was going to a thing that was like a competition. So yeah, she would probably be able to sense that it's Piccolo, or if not, punch him in the face and he'd be like, fucking goddammit, it's me.
Right.
Mom, you couldn't sense him sooner? I didn't know. So it would just add too many lines of dialogue, too much couldn't move forward, but I still don't like it.
Yeah, like you said, I don't really know how we would go about, or how they would go about introducing Videl into the mix too without, like you said, turning her too much into a damsel in distress for Gohan to come and save. Granted, Pan got some good shots in on a bunch of Red Ribbon mooks, but like she's 3 years old, so like
that's the thing. You can do both with Pan. You can say, of course, future. She's going to, she's the son of literally a godlike Saiyan.
Right. Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ. Like I'm just keeping it real. Trunks and Mai's kid could probably end up being the god of destruction.
Oh my god.
Honestly, like clearly, so she's obviously she has those moments, but also there's a little bit of a part of her that there, at least for Gohan's sake, that is damsel, that is she's literally in distress as a 3-year-old, as a child,
right? And
Gohan doesn't know what he's dealing with, and like he knows, like arguably like who they are, but he doesn't know like their power levels, and because they're androids, he can't even sense them, so he knows nothing. If Vidal's there, Gohan goes, well, at least she's with Videl.
Yeah.
And then Gamma's wouldn't have gone the extra mile if let's say Carmine, it was Carmine, right?
Yeah, Magenta's right-hand man.
Yeah.
Pompadour.
Oh, no, not him. Actually, no, you know what, him. If he had tried to kill one of the two of them.
Which I'm pretty sure he did.
No, I mean like Videl or in this hypothetical, he would have been like.
I'm pretty sure he pulled a gun on Pan at some point.
No. He would have tried to. But if he had said, "Oh yeah, you two have to, Gammas, you two have to kill them."
Yeah.
The Gammas wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
That would have stopped every. So you kind of have to not have Videl there, but I still don't like it. Yeah. Very much.
I mean, I'm glad we got that phone call with Piccolo and her.
To
that
explain
was nice.
What the fuck's happening.
Yeah.
It felt like they understood. Like, you know what? People are gonna be like, "Where the hell's Videl?" Yeah. We're telling a story about 2 out of 3 of these family members and their bond. Why would Videl not be there?
Right.
Well, it's because
I honestly love the fact that Piccolo has gone to pick up Pan so many times from school now that her teacher knows him by name,
and that
and is totally chill. Yeah, and is just totally chill with him, because like he walks up after the Red Ribbon dude tries to kidnap Pan, and she's like, "I don't know you," and fucking gut punches him, and he goes to the ground.
She straight up goes Bobby Hill.
Yeah, and she just walks up. "Oh, hey Piccolo." And then the fucking teacher walks up and is like, "Oh, Mr. Piccolo, it's good to see you." And oh god, I forgot the teacher's name, but Piccolo literally just walks up and is like, "Hey Barbara, how's it going?"
Yeah, no, I think it was literally like, "Hey, yeah,
I
Barbara."
Fucking lost my shit.
Hey Babs, what's going on?
The fact that they're on a first name basis was fucking hilarious.
And that was really
I love Piccolo and Pan's like back and forth, like. Even in the beginning, and Piccolo has a house now. That's great, and he literally has a fucking chair that looks like King Piccolo's. That's the other gag that everyone keeps, like the Gammas keep, like, "Oh, King Piccolo, I guess I didn't put you in your place the first time." And he's like, "I'm not King Piccolo."
Oh, what was really funny to me is that first line. Like, it really showed me that we were going to be in a different kind of film for Dragon Ball, because the first line between Gamma and Piccolo was just, I believe Piccolo was like, "No, that was from when I was Kami." And he was like, "When you were Kami? Do tell." Because of the fact that, and this isn't me knocking Toriyama, this is just me saying that the man, like many a manga creator, work under such rigorous conditions that they always have to think about what their next arc is, what their next chapter, not even next chapter, their next 20 chapters. Right. They need to be so far in advance in in what they're trying to do that sometimes he's not really, and many others, it happens for other manga creators as well. They're not necessarily thinking of like, "Oh, I have the entire map of all the lore." It can be the case, but it wasn't the case when we were watching Dragon Ball, or we were reading and watching Dragon Ball back in the day.
Right.
So, it was just about that next arc. It was about that next chapter.
Next fight. Yeah, the next chapter.
I mean, again, like, it's absurd that
man flew by the seat of his pants.
Again, a lot of manga creators do. It's a tough business.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the fact that this movie had a reference like that, I was like, huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then as the movie went on with its references, again, nothing that bogged the film down that could be confusing, but just little things here and there, like the little red line through Gohan as he transformed. I could fucking hear Day of Fate in my head.
Right, yeah.
I hear like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
Messia.
there was...
I
Like,
was just
this
like, oh,
movie really is a
bam,
passion
bam,
project
bam.
by the team that worked on it. Like,
Yes.
hands down.
I'm thinking of anything else. Oh, even just Piccolo talking to Dende, being like, last time I did this, hey, actually, I ended up making the Dragon Balls even better, so you can use the Dragon Balls. The little jokes with Bulma that was actually the only part I was like, so this is funny because the voice actors are bringing their all to it, but that was the most, like, dated. Like, that's dated on arrival. Her caring so much about her looks that she's going to use the dragon for little cosmetic surgery.
Right, surgery.
The only reason why I think that's funny is because of how well the voice actors sell it, both Chris Sabat and Monica Rial.
Yeah.
I'm sure their Japanese voice actors, of course, sold it just as well. But in English, I think that the voice acting overall, especially from some of the younger actors that they brought in, I don't believe Gamma 1 and 2 have been in a lot of stuff for Crunchymation, Funny-Roll. I don't know.
Yeah, my friends were talking about they've definitely been in Beyblade, which we've been going through for the last few months.
Right, I'll get to that in a second. That sounds like something a therapist should speak with you about. But
Magenta was also... Oh, Magenta was played by I can't remember his name.
Beyblade Burst?
No, yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But Magenta is played by the same voice actor who voices Mario.
What?
Yeah, no, the dude who voices Mario voiced Magenta, and you would have never known it unless you saw it in
Charles
the
Martinet?
Charles Martinet, yes.
He was in JoJo. That's a JoJo reference.
Oh shit, he was in JoJo too.
Not in the JoJo. The JoJo that we the JoJo that we podcasted on, which is not the JoJo you're thinking of at all. It was
the OVAs.
The OVAs. He was the politician in the car in, what was it, Italy? No, not Italy.
Okay.
It was in at the last fight with Dio versus
right.
Yeah,
gotcha. But like,
by the way, don't sell him short, Tristan. He was Mario and Luigi, and Wario and Waluigi.
You're right.
But he also genuinely does voice acting outside of that.
Yes,
of course. And so,
but just the fact of like, there was no hint. Like he's a fantastic actor, of course. So like, there's no hint of like any other character that he's played. Like he just did the character.
He's been in some of your Star Wars.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you knew that.
I vaguely remember that. I don't remember which character, but I
have you played X-Wing Alliance?
I have not.
Galactic Battlegrounds?
I have not.
Sounds like a Dragon Ball Z arc.
Right.
Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast.
Yes.
He was a Bespin cop, specifically number 2. He was a civilian male.
Oh, actually, I think I might have caught on to that.
From fucking civilian male? Okay, whatever.
Really? Okay.
Fucking hell. Imperial Officer 2 and Rebel Shock Troop 3.
Possibly.
Yeah, right. But I don't think he's been in some other Star Wars stuff. Some Lord of the Rings games, interestingly enough. A lot of video games, of course. I just keep on seeing more Mario Party.
Yeah.
Luigi, Yoshi's Mario, Donkey Kong Mario. Oh, for fuck's fuck.
But yeah, those little interactions with Pan and Piccolo really, really sold it for me. Like, that when they're training together and like, Piccolo's doing it seriously, like, nope, gotta train up the kids, and like punches her through a boulder, but like he's like, Piccolo has mellowed out and grown up at the same time to be like, Pan, the dust clears and he's like, "You're alright, kid?" She's like, "Yep," and she dusts herself off and she gets right back up. And the fact that she just hands him a water bottle and he's not even like being, tsundere about it. He's just like, "Thanks, kid." And they just share a quiet moment together. It's like, it's scenes like that are just beautiful.
The funniest thing is looking at the voice actors on the Wikipedia page for Dragon Ball Superhero and seeing Gohan, Goku, Goten, Japanese, Masaku Nozawa.
Right.
English, 3 dudes' names. Hilarious. Like, it's just... Like, it's like her, like the box is just huge next to just, but of course,
the woman's a
everyone,
legend.
Yeah, she's fucking amazing. I can't wait to see it in Japanese.
same.
Not in theaters, but I'm gonna probably see it on streaming or get it on Blu-ray or something.
Oh, I'm definitely getting this shit on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, dude. What's really cool is looking at the voice actor list. People came back. Like everyone who you thought. Here's the interesting thing: people sounded different. So like
Right.
Sabat as Piccolo, Vegeta, Korin, Yajirobe. Just keep going, keep going. As those characters, what I find fascinating, and highly suggest everyone goes back and listens to when he first took over the roles, because when he was, you can hear how he's trying to mimic Brian Drummond and Scott McNeil, both respectively Vegeta and Piccolo, the Ocean Dub versions, trying to mimic them as he kind of makes the characters his own. And what's interesting then is how he then goes even harder on someone like Vegeta, very raspy and stuff like that. I'm the Saiyan Prince. And then he's talked about in interviews and stuff how he's actually trying to help his voice, and kind of look at what he used to do and go, maybe not. And you can even tell the difference between his Armstrong versus 2003 and Brotherhood,
Right. Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist, how he toned it down because it's actually better on his voice. And you
Right.
can very much see that specifically in his Korin, where Korin used to sound like this. Hi, my name's Korin. I'm the Bean Daddy. And now he actually sounded like
I
he was
smoke
just
20 packs a day, and I don't know how they get up here to my lookout, but they just appear at my doorstep.
thanks, Kami. No problem. But it's one of those things where you can hear, I heard him and he was Brooklyn-y, but he wasn't as raspy as Korin.
Right. Yeah.
And also just hearing how some actors have aged,
Yeah.
just in their voice. Kara Edwards, who is Videl, has not aged somehow. Her voice, she still sounds like she's been the same
Yeah.
Videl the whole
Yeah.
time.
Still sounds spot on.
Fucking absurd. However, Justin Cook, who used to be Raditz,
Yeah.
in everything.
Yep.
If you've heard Raditz in something and it's English, it's been Justin Cook.
Yep.
I'm talking about I don't know how that man has not gone clinically insane saying, "We are born of a Saiyan race," fucking 30, 40 times.
Right.
And that's just per game. God knows how many line reads per time. But anyway, point is that he ended up taking over the role as Adult Dende years ago.
Right.
I think he might have been Adult Dende in fucking. I think Dende was an adult in GT, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, because he was an adult in the Majin Buu saga, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's been him the whole time. Justin Cook sounds older. Nothing against the dude. It's just that, he's been doing this shit for fucking 20 years. You're going to have people sound older. But it was very interesting because I could still tell that it was Justin Cook as Dende. It was aggressively Justin Cook, if that makes any sense. If you hear a lot of his roles, you're like, oh shit, that's Justin Cook.
Oh, yeah. I'm
it's
pretty
kinda
sure
fun.
he was Yusuke Urameshi, too, in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, interesting point. I thought that. I'm sorry. Oh, yes, you're right. He was Yusuke in Yu Yu Hakusho. Sorry that I ran through that. I didn't know if Christopher Sabat was still Yajirobe, and he's not. That's actually Mike McFarland, who also does the voice of Oolong.
Right.
And I think he does the voice for Roshi as well, I believe. I don't know if that's always been the case, but I believe he's the voice of all three. Obviously not really mentioned here because Roshi wasn't in the film. But Dr. Hedo, by the way, I want to take a look at some of the newer voice actors and see what they were in. One of them doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. That's fascinating.
Damn. Wow.
So we'll get to these three in a sec. But interesting, Broly was replaced. I don't know if you noticed. It was so few lines. It's hard to tell.
Johnny Young Bosch now, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because I didn't know if there would be a lot of controversy. I find it fascinating that there wasn't. And to me, and we've talked about this before, the videos I believe now are delisted because of the fact that at the time all the information was changing, so I don't want to have information that's extremely out of date
Right.
3 years after the fact. But Vic Mignogna was accused of doing a lot of awful things, potentially because of the fact that he did a lot of fucking awful things. And
Yep.
the reason why I'm more comfortable saying this, I don't know if we talked about this. I'm not going to talk about this for too long, as it's outside the purview of the film. But I want to mention he lost the appeals.
Right.
I don't know if we talked about that off podcast.
He
believe
lost we did, yeah.
the appeals, and allegedly a judge said in the appeals, the last judge was too nice on you, and now asked him to pay more.
Nice.
Let me explain. You've been so quiet this whole time, and I know how you feel, but I was like, oh, I feel bad making you feel like uncomfortable, and you're like, nice.
Nah, yeah.
Fuck yeah, Daze. I'm like, all right, cool. No, yeah, it's just really funny. That's like the first thing that comes out of your mouth, like, awesome. But anyway, so point is that I just find it fascinating that, people talk about, oh, Vic has been wronged, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. I have, and I hope he hasn't. I'm not saying that he should. I just have not seen Johnny Young Bosch get any heat.
Yeah.
It's
right,
only,
for taking over the role.
No,
yeah.
It's only women that are constantly being harassed about this.
Oh,
be they
right.
ones that have accused or him or just talking about it. They're getting harassed. I have not seen anything about Johnny Young Bosch. And to this day, you still have some people saying online, oh man, Toei's going to take the license away from Funimation any day now.
Oh my god.
I know. They're so upset about this. They're going to take away the license from Dragon Ball from Funimation. Obviously now Crunchyroll. They're going to take it away. They're not happy. They literally replaced Vic Mignogna with like one of the most popular voice actors in the industry.
Yep.
When you look at anime voice acting, I think everything is just moved on.
Yep.
Yeah. And by the way, he sounded great as Broly. Like it's one of those weird. I mean, Broly didn't have much to do really.
Yeah.
But he just, I don't know. Like
it worked.
It worked in a way where, how do I explain this? So I love Johnny Young Bosch's work. I feel like you can usually go, oh shit, it's Johnny Young Bosch.
Oh yeah, every time.
Even though he still has great range.
Yeah, definitely.
Usually I see him within the same range though and be like, oh, it's Johnny Young Bosch.
Right.
Were you able to tell that it was Johnny Young Bosch if I didn't tell you or someone didn't tell you?
Probably not. If I hadn't known beforehand already, I probably wouldn't have realized, no.
Yeah, it's absurd. Like, he's just really fucking good.
Yeah, because I feel like he's usually playing, like, a younger, like, teenage character, and he has that kind of voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ichigo Kurosaki, basically.
Yes. But no, he was really good.
Yep.
Also, of course, Sabat played Shenron as well. And again, he was a bit more subdued. Funny.
Right.
Really funny hearing him. I'm gonna die.
It's okay. We fixed the hole in Matt's esophagus from that special beam cannon stray blast. It's fine.
I don't know what we're gonna cut and what we're not gonna cut. I don't know what was the last thing I said. But either way,
your vocal cords definitely got cut.
Yeah, it is true. But speaking of vocal cords, I'm fascinated to see that Norio Wakamoto, the original voice of Cell, came back to voice Cell Max.
Yep. Which is crazy because this is also another character who didn't say much. He just screamed a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked. And Damian Clark, I believe, was the last voice of Cell in Kai.
I believe so, yeah.
Because he sounds very familiar. Oh, he was younger Toguro in Yu Yu Hakusho, Scar, and Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes, and he voiced Cell, of course. But wait, hold on. So Damian Clark, that's the... No. They got the original.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so maybe I don't know if I said this ever on the podcast. I'm wondering if I've been giving some wrong information to all of you for years now. I know I've said this to you behind the scenes. I was under the impression that he didn't come back for Kai. Well, because he isn't listed here under his roles as being in Brotherhood. So I thought someone else came back to be both Scar and Cell and Kai. Apparently he was in Kai.
Oh,
but
right.
He was credited because at the time he was Union.
Right.
So he was in LA, but he still voiced the character. But apparently, I this has to be bullshit. In the notes, it says he was credited as D'Artagnan Nickelback. That can't be real. It's Wikipedia. That can't be real.
I don't know.
Do you have Kai on Blu-ray?
No, I do not.
God damn, I gotta go buy Kai and see if D'Artagnan Nickelback is in the credits in the dub.
That sounds like the secret cover for, like, before Dragon Ball, before the Cell arc came out, what they, like, codenamed Cell as to not spoil what the villain was going to be for the arc or some shit.
Oh, I thought you meant like the Red Ribbon Army was like...
Or that too.
It's Operation D'Artagnan Nickelback.
We can't let Capsule Corp know the secret plans we're working on. Codename it D'Artagnan Nickelback. They'll never decode that one.
Oh my god. Alright, so point is that Damian Clark came back to be Cell, which is neat.
Yeah.
Chi Lai was done by Erica Lindbeck, a fantastic voice actress. I'm sure you've heard her in a bunch of shit, even if you don't know her by name. Her Twitter, for a little bit, it was hilarious. She took a bit of a step back from Twitter, from what I've noticed, but but her Twitter at one point, she was like, she pretended to be like a different character that took over her Twitter, but it was like hacked by like an evil spirit or some shit.
Oh my god.
Absolutely fucking absurd.
Nice.
She seems fantastic. I'm wondering if she's been in anything that you would know about. Have you seen Hunter x Hunter? Which I just recently learned that you don't pronounce the X.
Yeah. I haven't seen it specifically. I've seen clips.
Have you seen the 2016 Berserk?
No.
Well, all right.
Because I'm pretty sure that was... Wait, was it... No. Which one was the god-awful one?
Listen, have you seen Fooly Cooly Alternative?
I haven't, actually. Which is a shame.
Persona 5, the animation.
Nope. Played the game, though.
Fucking want to fight you right now.
Anytime.
Pacific Rim the Black.
Yes.
You fucking saw that? Yeah, you fucking saw that.
Yeah, of course I fucking saw that.
Yeah, we podcasted on all of the Pacific Rim films. I still need to watch the Black so that we could actually podcast on it, and we also need to find the time. But she was Loa.
It's probably the little sister. Both were main characters. I haven't seen it in over a year or two now.
I'm going to strangle you. Dragon Ball Super Strangle.
Is that your ultimate finishing move? Do you have the onomatopoeia explosion behind you when you use it?
No, it's not my finishing move. It's the name of my new form. Strangle.
Oh my god.
But yeah. So of course, like I was saying, she's Chile.
Right. Speaking of finishing moves, though.
Wait, hold on. So I was right. So she reprised her role. She was also Futaba Sakura in Persona 5.
Okay.
So you know who Futaba Sakura is?
Yes, I do.
Good. I'm sitting here like, you know all the things that she's been in, and you're like, nope, not.
I mean, nothing, like, not a lot that I've specifically sat down and watched, but I know of.
I know, it just made me laugh because I said that truly believing it.
Right.
Anyway, so, but what were you going to say? Speaking of...
I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't a total ass to you on live internet radio.
if you weren't completely fucking over something I set up.
Exactly.
Yes. My god. But either way, though, you were talking about special moves. Do you want to bring up any special moves?
Just the fight choreography and the fight effects were fucking phenomenal in this movie. I even saw a blurb from Toriyama recently, just, how he had a more subdued story, like going back to some roots in, like, Dragon Ball. But he's like, but I saw the fight scenes and I was completely blown away. And I'm like, damn right you were. They did you proud.
I think it was great how, because we didn't show Goku and Vegeta, we could see their cool fight and how cool that was.
Yeah.
But we could see just how cool a fight like this could be with Piccolo and Gohan.
Yeah. I mean, Gohan literally suplexed Gamma 1 into the ground and I, like, lost my shit.
I laughed so hard when I saw wrestling moves. I was like, God damn it, this is fantastic.
And Piccolo got to do all of his things that he's forgotten that he could do for like years. I'm pretty sure I screamed out loud in the theater, "We got stretchy arms." I was just so happy that Piccolo used his stretchy arm ability. Because
it's something that if you asked me when is the last time he used stretchy arms, I'd be like, I think they were still doing the anime on paper.
Right.
I think. No, I'm pretty sure he did it in Super.
He might have done it in the Tournament of Power.
Yes. No. He definitely did in Super.
The last time I remember in my mind was fucking Cooler's Revenge.
No, that's what I'm saying. The last time it was in a film, they were literally doing anime on paper.
Right. And the special beam cannon just looked fucking beautiful.
Yes.
And that one shot where Gamma 2 just puts up the fucking barrier and the beam gets deflected and refracted into multiple like lasers and it's just etching shit into the ground. Oh.
You know what I'm surprised
beautiful.
about? How I don't know if that's a meme or not. Or if that's a reference to the famous meme.
No idea.
But you know what meme I'm referring to. When we were in high school.
The fire in my laser?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, we got that with Cell Max, basically.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Cell Max doing that, it blew my mind. I was like, wait.
Oh, yeah. What blew my mind was we literally had a fucking Shin Godzilla reference because when he shoots all the lasers, like, out of his head and off his back and, like, all of his body, that was another one. I was like, oh my god, he's Shin Godzilla!
Oh, I thought he was Godzilla in general, doing the roar. It was very...
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, fair enough.
And you talked about kaiju fight, because yes, another thing that Piccolo can do that so many people, including myself, forgot he can do because of how long he's been since he's done it. And he mentions why it makes sense. Like, look, I don't get stronger. It's
it's kind of a bluff. Like,
well, it's a bluff because it's one of those interesting things where it doesn't make him weaker, like with Tien splitting up or something.
Right, yeah.
He's not weaker, it's just
but he's not any stronger either.
I'm just big. I'm big man now.
Right.
I could be slow if someone tiny. So
right, exactly. Which is what Goku did to him. But I love the fact that it was Krillin that brought it up. Like, get big. He's like, what? Get big? Like you did back in the World Martial Arts Tournament. I thought for sure Piccolo was going to turn around and be like, you still fucking remember that?
Yeah, no, I think he said something along those lines. He was like, wow, yeah, it's been a while.
And Krillin's just like, yeah, you kicked my ass in it. Oh, right.
No, but it was a fantastic scene because, again, it's one of those tiny things that, like, Toriyama just couldn't do because he's doing other shit.
The fact that Krillin got to land a Destructo Disc, too, even though it didn't really do anything, but the fact that he fucking landed it.
Yeah, that was really
nice.
Cool.
And that was kind of hilarious with Cell Max, the fact, like, that we basically had a mix of like Bio Broly and Wrath of the Dragon. Cause
well, hey, hold on. I brought up Wrath of the Dragon.
You did. And now I'm stealing it from you.
How dare you? How when I do that to you all the time. Yes. So, well, I thought of Wrath of the Dragon in two ways. This one I didn't tell you about, so haha. But I'm surprised they didn't do it. When you hear the phrase Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and Gohan is going to be in it.
Right.
Did you also think that Saiyaman was going to make a return?
Yeah, that was an interesting point I heard people bring up. I mean, yeah, that was like the first thing I thought when I heard the title. I'm like, oh, so he's going to do a Saiyaman bit at some point. Not that
I get why they didn't, but like, because like, I mean, honestly, at what point in his angry tirade of how he's gonna fucking murder every single one of them, bring them back with the Dragon Balls, murder them again, if they even touch a hair on Pan's head.
The dude literally goes from like, I'm researching ants as a biologist and can't be bothered to be, ripped away from it. Not terribly so, but like enough that Piccolo was annoyed about it. And that, he needed a little bit of a wake-up call. But to the fact of nearly destroys his new fancy lovely home with a crater that is like 10 times larger than it, with a man literally on his hands and knees, pissing himself, begging for forgiveness.
He squeezed the fucking the frame on the window.
Yeah.
Instantly. It was like, oh my god. But
it was fucking beautiful.
Yeah. At what point does he go, the Great Saiyaman is here?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like Gohan's like, he's like, yeah, I had fun with that back in high school, but like kind of hung that up. Hung the costume up in the closet, you know? Maybe
that's
for
the
Halloween.
Thing. Well, that's the thing. If it was done in more like a Gohan, we gotta go in. If Piccolo was like, we gotta dress up, we gotta go in. I think
definitely.
he would have.
He would have made the joke, yeah. And Piccolo
not made the joke.
Like,
I think he would have done it. He would have been like,
right.
well, I don't want them to know my identity, so...
Right. And Piccolo would have been like, they're going to notice you within 5 seconds, you dumbass.
Well, if it's the same... If they have all the information that they do and it's still the Red Ribbon Army, yes. What I was confused about, speaking of all the references and stuff, even though, like... So normally, when something happens, you know, in a film or a TV show, I can go, oh, that just happened to them when they were a kid. But with the amount of trauma that Gohan went through, I was kind of confused that when the Red Ribbon Army has their insignia on their own shit, and it's like, who are you? And I'm like, Gohan, look at his chest. Look at that.
I mean,
giant
shit, Piccolo picked
chest.
that up.
I mean, it's literally the same. Like, because here's the thing. I
loved how Gamma 2 was like, oh, damn it. I told him not to put it on the suit.
Yes. But because I totally buy the concept of, oh, we're not Red Ribbon Army? No, we're rebranding as Red Ribbon Pharmaceutical, or rather as Red Pharmaceuticals. Red Pharmaceuticals. We'll kill you, but different.
Oh my god.
That's their tagline.
Oh my, yeah, it felt like, oh, so you're the Umbrella Corporation now. Okay, great. That's even better.
Well, it just felt very much like if you're going to use the conspiracy theory angle as like a joke on how in real life stuff like that happens and people like misinterpret and make patterns and stuff, even if it's not on purpose, it still happens. It felt very much like Red Pharmaceuticals was also a bit of a jab at just the industry as a whole. Like, oh, we're going to be an evil corporation. What are we going to be? A pharmaceutical company. And I'm in the theater like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, same.
It's like, okay, well, that's making a statement.
I just love the fact that they've got the billboards with the still original Red Ribbon logo plastered all over it.
That's what I feel weird about because, again, I'm perfectly fine with like, again, the rebrand and stuff, but it's not really a rebrand if it's the original logo. Look, I normally am not one to do this, especially when the film was fantastic in so many other regards, but with Bulma being the kind of person that she was, where she's paying attention to other scientists in the field and stuff like that, well, it's not necessarily her field.
Yeah.
You would think that she'd be like, well, that doesn't look good. Hey, honey! Yeah, Dad? Remember the fascists? What? Remember that army? The ones that were, like, really fascist. The Red Ribbon Army? Yeah. Them.
That one.
Yeah.
Come look at this photo.
Yeah. Come look at this pharmaceutical lad.
Oh my god.
That's them, right? Like, I remember Jiro. He was a dick. That's
Bulma's
them,
just like,
right?
Ah, shit.
Like, that's what's really... And what's even funnier, too, like, I understand that for plot reasons, Piccolo has to be like, can't explain now. But what's really funny is that the plot at that point was so easy to explain.
Yeah.
Remember Jiro? Yeah, he was a dick. All right, so I don't know what he's doing, but turns the phone around. I mean, again, he doesn't know how to work a phone, but like he could have said, "Ribbon Army back, Moon's haunted, get a gun." You know,
loads special beam cannon. Moon's haunted.
I have one even better. Just load special beam cannon. What's wrong, Piccolo? Red Ribbon Army's haunted.
Cell's haunted. What? Cell's haunted. Yeah,
back to your point. So I'm going to throw it to you. Before I mentioned the Wrath of the Dragon stuff, we got a little sidetracked. Because I mentioned the Great Saiyaman one, but I was going to mention a different one, but I want you to talk about your Bio Broly, because I also thought the same thing, but you came to me with it first, so...
Yeah, just because we have basically the same cast of characters minus Hercule. Like, we had we had Goten and Trunks, which I was so glad to finally see them aged up, even though they made, the excuse, oh, Saiyans go through, huge growth spurts. I'm like, okay, you're covering your ass, but whatever.
I mean, it's long enough of a gap.
Exactly.
Between...
It's not technically wrong, because Gohan basically did the same thing, too. Just... there wasn't as much time in between on screen for us to wait as there was, because we go from the Cell Saga to the Buu Saga, and it's a 7-year gap, but we skipped that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Also, something to note as well, in the manga, at least the original, and the original anime, like not the dub, he's significantly younger when he fights Cell.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, because they call him in all of the games and other media in the U.S. Teen Gohan.
Yeah, but he's 11.
11 or 12, yeah.
Yeah, depending on time chamber shenanigans.
Yes. So, yeah, exactly, that too. So, he's like 11 or 12. So, like...
They had to have some distinguishing thing for his name in the game,
No, I think they just put that in there because they don't want to feel like you're beating the shit out of a child. Or that you are, as a child, getting... I mean, you can't... Everyone else in the games, until Goten and Trunks, like that earlier part of DBZ when it was really hitting off, they were all, like, adults. And androids. And aliens. And then there's Gohan.
Yeah.
I'm this many, gets punched in the fucking face.
Basically,
like,
Frieza just laughs.
Like, it just makes it...
That's
just sounds
adorable. You're going to be the youngest thing I've killed today.
Like, just really think about this, right? It sounds better to say he's in high school as a fighter. Like, there's a lot of high school fighters out there.
Right.
Rival schools. There's characters in high school in Tekken, Street Fighter, right?
Right.
That makes sense. Versus...
A 4-year-old.
No, not 4-year-old. In 3rd grade.
Right, yeah.
4th grade. Like, is it 3rd, 4th? Well, no, actually, yeah. 3rd.
Somewhere
3rd grade. So, it just sounds better to go, teen Gohan. He's a teenager.
Right. And speaking of Gohan's trauma, when Piccolo figures out that Cell is being brought back, when 18 and Gohan appear and they see Cell Max, I'm like, oh, is this we gonna have a little flashback there? I felt so bad for 18. I was gonna be like, Krillin, you may need to console your wife for a few minutes there.
Yeah, her voice actor really sold it. Same voice actress that's been playing her, Meredith McCoy. Yeah. At least newer, I believe. Not the original 18, but still.
Yeah. Still got the tracksuit, too.
Yeah, still got the tracksuit. But, yeah, one thing that's interesting, though, you mentioned the same cast of characters. As, I find it, like, from Bio Broly. I find it very interesting.
Goten, Trunks, Krillin, 18, and... yeah, the only one missing out of that being Mr. Satan.
And he was mentioned.
Yes.
But within the last few movies, obviously not so subtle with something like, fucking Broly coming back.
Right.
But generally, though, they've been kind of bringing in little tiny bits of the films.
The old movies.
The non-canon films. Yeah. And doing little tiny things that make me sit back and go, huh... that has to be a nod in some way.
Right.
When you looked at Cell spreading his wings.
Yeah, and trying to fly upwards, it looks a lot like
Hirudegarn.
Yeah.
Even the camera angles, like...
oh, yeah.
It was very much like Hirudegarn, and that fascinated me.
His posture, the roaring, his tail.
Yes. Yeah, no, the roaring was very much like... I was like the same Funimation filter. I was like, the same filter you had for Hirudegarn.
Did you have to dig that up from the archives?
Well, that's the funny thing. I don't know if Hirudegarn had an English voice or it was just the same roar, but I mentioned the filter as like a half joke, half legit. When they got, I think it's Aaron Dismuke. He voiced over. Now he's fucking the main character in Dr. Stone.
Right.
But he used to be Edward's younger brother in FMA.
Right. Yeah, Alphonse.
He's become old.
Right.
We're all getting older.
Yeah.
They actually had a bowl for him that they brought out both times.
Oh my god.
The same bowl from 2013, they brought it out in 2009.
Holy shit.
There was no voiceover filters or anything. They just had a bowl that he spoke into that made him sound like that. Swear to God.
I love shit like that.
But yeah, I am interested in the fact that they're doing these little, what seem to be nods. They can't not be nods, I feel. Maybe
Right.
I'm looking too into it, but the fact that we both could pick up on it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. But talking about the voice acting just a little bit more, because I wanted to talk about some of those voice actors before that seemed to be new. Like ones that apparently you mentioned that you might know about, like, let's see here. Zeno Robinson was Gamma number 2.
Yes, yeah, that was somebody my friends picked up on.
He has been in Young Justice, Black Clover, Demon Slayer. He was Go in the Pokemon anime, Goh. That's new, right? That's a new character, I think.
It has to be. I'm not familiar.
All right. He was Super Alloy Black Luster in One Punch Man. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I don't recognize the name. It's been a while.
He's Deidoro and Hawks in My Hero Academia. So he's not
shit.
super.
Okay, that one I know.
Yeah, he's not super new to the game.
Right.
But but he's definitely new to my ears. He's not. He's been in. Oh, he was in Skate the Infinity. I've heard about that. He's also been in. I want to see if there's anything. Yeah, no, Pokemon. You were like, yeah, it's a new Pokemon character from 2021.
Yeah.
So yes, you were right. He was. Wow, he's Tai in Digimon Adventure 2022.
Oh shit, nice.
The
yeah,
new
I still
version.
gotta check that out too.
Same here, man. That's very interesting. He has been. I want to see if he's been in Beyblades. I want to see if you're right. I don't see him in Beyblades. That might have been
They might have
Gamma
been
number
mistaken.
1. No, it could have been Gamma number 1. Let's check him out. Alex Lay or Alex Lee, L-E. I assume Lay. He is in Beyblade Burst Rise.
Yeah.
He's
right.
Joe Lazare.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course he fucking is. You're like, of course, Joe. I've seen Joe before.
I only remember it because my friend brought up the name.
Right. No, thank you for reminding me. So I wanted to go over this in therapy. So you and your friends are watching new Beyblades.
Yes.
Can you? So like you're watching it like on Disney XD.
Yeah, something like that.
How does a fellow Beyblade enthusiast watch the new Beyblade? In case someone wanted to, watch the new Beyblade.
Painfully.
Oh, so it's not good?
I mean, it's not for me. It's like it's for a younger audience. There's not a lot of depth to it. I'll put it that way.
Oh, it's not. So it's not the voice acting. It's
No.
plot.
It's yes
or lack thereof.
lack thereof. Exactly.
Okay, I like the openings from what I've heard.
Yes, except for the newest one.
Okay, yeah.
Funny. Burst Rise or Burst was it Burst or Burst Rise? One of those. Jonathan Young, singer.
Oh,
musician.
Right.
He does the opening for it.
You mentioned that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see.
By the way, Alex Lay is also. Wow, I think this is the new Higurashi. When They Cry Go. I think
yeah.
he's in that. But he's also in Golden Wind. He's Mario Zucchero. Double C's.
Right.
I don't know who that is. He's in the new Shaman King as well. Another thing
shit.
that you and I are both are going to say at the same time. Have to
Need
check
to check
out.
that out.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he was in the OVA, specifically the JoJo one, Thus Spoke Kishibe Rohan.
Right, nice.
He was Yoma Hashimoto. Did you read that manga? Because it's based off of a manga, right?
Yes. Yes. I haven't read it now. There are actually multiple ones with Rohan now, I think.
There's like a live action one too, I think.
Yeah, like side stories.
Yeah. You don't mean adaptations. You just mean like, yeah.
Yeah, manga side stories.
Right. Oh, the voice of not Dr. Hedo, of Carmine is Jason Momocha. And he has a face very familiar. He's been in the industry for a long time. But I can't pick his voice work out of a lineup. But he was very comfortable in the role as a comedic character.
Yeah.
He worked. This was the Pompadour Man.
Yes, right.
Yes. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Sorry. He was Coach Nanbu in Megalobox.
Oh damn! All right.
Wow, he's fucking fantastic. I love his voice. Holy shit. And in part 4 of JoJo, he was Keicho Nijimura. Oh, I don't know who that is. He was also Monster King Orochi in One Punch Man and the Hedo Jellyfish.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he has done a ton of shit. Oh, he's also been in Case Closed. Oh, he was in Hells, the dub that was done by Team 4 Star?
Yes. Yep.
Wasn't licensed by them, they were just commissioned to do the voiceover work.
I
Right?
don't recall. I thought they licensed it, but I could be wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure. No, yeah, Discotech Media licensed.
Right. And they did the voiceover work.
Right. Yes. Oh, it says by the English dub was by Sound Cadence Studios and Team 4 Star, so I wonder if they just lent some of their talent over, i.e.
Right, yeah.
themselves.
Right.
We're just like, yeah, we'll be in it, and we'll say that, it's part Team 4 Star. But I don't know if they directed, like, someone like Momocha, or if it was more so... Or, I'm sorry, Momocha, that's funny. Marnocha. Wow, I gotta get a stronger prescription. That's fucking hilarious. I'm wearing my glasses, and I just called him Momocha. If I send you the Wikipedia page, you're gonna tell me it looks like Momocha. I hope.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna send it to you off camera.
Oh,
But either way, though, the voiceover work, you were telling me you thought it was okay, because I thought it was not like the best ever, but I just feel like everyone brought something, and it just felt very natural.
Oh yeah.
What wasn't?
No, I thought everybody did a great job.
Oh, okay. Because what wasn't natural, for some reason, the way the film was animated, and this can happen with anime sometimes in general, where people are like very bombastic, and because of that, the voices don't always fit. But there was something about the lip, the mouth flaps, and just with the way some of them were moving, that while the voiceover work worked, there was something else that felt incongruent. Maybe it's because it's, the first Dragon Ball film that is in 3D like this. But yeah, for some reason, there was something that felt a little off to me. But it wasn't the work of the actors at all. It might have just been, the animation style, which I did enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly thought it was great, too.
I would like to see more Dragon Ball in this style. It would be nice if they tried different styles out per movie, but honestly, with the fact that they have the assets, if you will, in this style, think of it more like a video game, right?
Yeah.
If they have the assets, it's going to become easier to animate in this style if they keep doing it.
Exactly.
Because they have the models.
Yeah, and I think it'll probably continue on in this fashion into the future.
I hope so. Like, the show, I want it to be as 2D as... If they do another show, I want it to be so 2D. I want it to be more 2D than Super. I want them to go back to drawing on paper. Okay? I want cells. All right? I want animation cells.
Right.
All right? I want the show to look like it did when I was a kid. Damn it.
Yeah, I get it.
No. But for real, I do... feel like as a show I would want it to look different, but as a film I loved it, like the way that it looked. It was new. Oh, here's something funny that you might not know, Tristan. I skipped all of the trailers.
Yeah, I believe I saw like one or two, but I tried to stay away from spoiling myself as much as possible, which I believe is hilarious because they definitely did a better job of not spoiling things this time, but it may have been to the fact of they barely advertised it much at all.
Well, okay, so a few things. First thing first, so I should clarify, it's not that I didn't see any spoilers or anything. Most of the stuff that I saw was on Twitter that wasn't like spoiled to the point where I'm knowing like someone lives or dies or whatever. It was more so just like jokes about how Piccolo is the star of Superhero. And I was like, what? That made me more intrigued in wanting to watch it, honestly.
Right. Yeah.
So that, like, little things like that. However, I think the reason why it was promoted though, but there was less promotion in certain respects. And here's the thing, right? The way that they did promotion was in a way that you and I wouldn't really catch on because we're not in this community. But having Goku and Vegeta in Fortnite clearly is a way for them to
fair enough. Yeah.
promote the film, even if Goku and Vegeta weren't in it as much.
Right.
It literally dropped within the week, them being in Fortnite. And with them being in Fortnite, people in general can do Kamehamehas.
Yes, that I saw. I heard about.
Yeah. So basically, like, that was their way of promoting. And honestly, I do think it works with a younger crowd. Very much so. Because now you end up having more people on YouTube discussing, doing tutorials on how to use Goku in Fortnite.
Right.
Reaching an audience that people, some people being like, oh, I've heard about Dragon Ball. I'm an anime fan. I like Naruto more, but I've heard about Dragon Ball. Let me check it out. How can I check it out? And then, let me see a YouTube video talking about it before I go see Superhero, right?
Right.
We're not in that crowd, obviously, pushing 30 here. But, yeah, for a younger... I mean, when you think about the fact that, kids, back in the day... I won't say one of the words, as it's not really a word that we use anymore, but back in the day, the Cowboys and Native Americans game, before our time, but we would still hear about that game, kids, playing that, going around, going pew pew, cops and robbers.
Right, yeah.
Things like that, right? That was one that I heard more because we're not that fucking old.
Right.
But still, those games, now they're playing Fortnite, which is just them going around in real life going pew 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 pew, right? They buy a Nerf gun and you have 2 kids being like, or 5 kids being like, let's play Fortnite in real life. It's a fucking Nerf gun. It came first, but no, they're kids. So it's reaching that audience in a very interesting and unique way.
Oh, lordy.
Yes. But in a very interesting and unique way that I think that, I don't know about you, but yeah, I didn't see trailers spoiling it. But also, there were less tie-ins. Again, Fortnite being a huge one, but when I talk about tie-ins, I mean... they had a new shiny form to introduce to the video games that they didn't have this time. Thankfully.
Right. Well, it's funny. I think the forms came from superhero. The superheroes.
Yes. No. Superhero. I know.
Game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No. There's a card game.
Yeah.
The Datass card game. Like those machines, the data.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Kamen Rider, which I was supposed to get to and explain to some people that context and some of those references. I will in a sec. But Kamen Rider also has them as well. Huge. It's a Bandai thing.
Yeah.
Right? And Bandai also does merchandising in Japan for not just Kamen Rider, but also Super Sentai, which is also known as Power Rangers in the US. Also for Ultraman as well. Again, Gamma 1 and 2 were inspired by Ultraman. But we'll get to that also in a sec. But point is that when it comes to you're claiming, I have not seen sources on this. You're our source on this, Tristan, that they did use some designs, just like with how Xenoverse used designs from that Dragon Ball MMORPG,
right?
That died. They used some designs from superheroes in this film.
Yeah,
at least,
and I've
obviously
just
it's
heard
not,
this mentioned in various YouTube videos I've been watching after people talking about the movie. That kind.
It's not animated the same, but the general designs have been taken. That would be fascinating. But what I meant more so is that, and also Dragon Ball Superheroes, Dragon Ball Heroes, that whole stuff. It is a video games as well. There was one on the 3DS that we didn't get. I know someone was working on a fan translation for that, but it was on the 3DS. There's also one on the Switch that we did get, and I know that's not really your scene, and it's not really my scene, but it is out there. The anime, of course, we have not gotten. That's all translated by fans online.
Yeah.
And I think some of the manga stuff, too, that they've done also by fans online. But point is that they had no new form to introduce in Fighter Z, so they didn't go, hey, guess what? Cell Dynamax is here.
Oh my god.
And he's going to come out on this date, and you can play as him.
I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner.
I was in the theater and I whispered to Satish, I really love his Dynamax form. I didn't think I would.
Oh my god. Please tell me he spit out his popcorn.
He was like, he was laughing. Our other friend died louder. It was like, oh my god. I was like, yes, thank you.
Right.
I won.
Yeah.
I won the game. So yeah, it was nice to not be spoiled in such a way because I think we talked about this. If any of you didn't listen to the
Super
podcast
Broly.
With Super Broly, Funimation's Twitter promoted the character of Gogeta before the movie came out. It wasn't even in theaters in the U.S.
Yeah, and there was no like indication or anything that Gogeta was going to be in the movie. They
unless
just showed
you
him.
saw trailers or promotional videos that you could have just tried to skip.
Yeah.
But when I say promoted, I mean like literally on Funimation's Twitter.
Yeah.
As it was on their own Twitter, but I believe it was also an ad. I didn't get it on the Twitter feed like that. I got it as an ad.
Yep.
Targeted at me because of course I'm a fan. So it's like, well, here's this ad, and I'm like, I want to fight.
Yeah, and like for me, as we got closer to when Superhero came out, I was getting a lot of those ads, but I think they did them a lot better this time because it gave you some cool key action scenes, but it never spoiled like big thing like Cell Max was not in the ads for the movie.
Yeah.
Like you saw the Gammas and you saw Gohan and Piccolo, but like,
I didn't even know that Red Ribbon Army was a thing. But if Red Ribbon Army was in some new video game, they would do some cross bullshit.
Right.
That would be like, Red Ribbon Army characters are gonna come to... Blah, blah. So they actually did a very good job. And in a way, actually kind of did a little fake out by having it... I obviously would have been... It's going to be Goku and Vegeta as their, the two biggest characters from DBZ. Or just from Dragon Ball as a whole now. But it's fucking amazing that they were in Fortnite and not like Gohan and Piccolo. Because if they are, the jig is up. You're like, what's happening? Why is adult Gohan and Piccolo in Fortnite?
Yeah.
But it actually was a nice little kind of low-key fake out.
Yeah.
Because I did not think that they would be taking such a back seat in this film. And again, very happy that they did. You were telling me that Gohan's name was... the name of his new form was different in Japanese. Could you expand on that? So we had to take a quick pause there. I think androids are trying to take us down. We're having some malfunctions via some technology. So talking about some of these forms for Gohan, there's Saigo Gohan, which can mean final Gohan, Beast Gohan, I think Saigo means final, Beast Gohan, Super Awakening Beast,
Right.
just known as Beast, Last Gohan, and End Gohan, which both sound extremely ominous.
Right. Yeah.
Also, when it comes to Piccolo, he does not. His form genuinely does not have a name. They did not give his form a name, hilariously enough. Also, I did not expect that. I forgot about the little bit extra because the movie had a great way of doing so much, not too much, but just so much that it actually genuinely made me forget the little bit extra given by the Eternal Dragon. Yes.
Yeah.
Which was nice because you were mentioning, and I can see it now on the Dragon Ball Wikia, that apparently this is relating to like the tribe that he's from, the Ajiza tribe.
Yeah, or I guess in English it was like the Dragon Clan or something.
Oh, okay. Right. So yes, that's interesting, and I'm wondering if they're ever going to pick up on that. But I'm happy that for any it's something that maybe this part, as much as I loved it, maybe this was the only part of the film that I was like, wow, huh? Because I thought the hidden power stuff was enough of a boost that he did not need the little bit extra. Not that the little bit extra was bad, but I think that if this is the one part of the film maybe that's a bit more on the reference side for those who are like super deep in Dragon Ball stuff.
Yeah.
But they still played it off really well. Dragon Ball is known for its forms. If Gohan's getting a form, why would Piccolo not? And it was still funny how, the joke of, so what are you going to name? What are you going to name your form? I don't know. I was thinking like Orange Piccolo.
Right. Yeah, the fact that he's just so completely nonchalant about it, and he's like, or I made the joke to you, like, well, everybody else has got a color for him, so why not?
Yeah, pretty much. And looking at some of the other voice actors, just wrapping that part up because I know that we were going back and forth on that. When it comes to Dr. Hedo, he was played by Zach Aguilar, and he looks very young. I don't know if I've seen him. He's only 24 years old. And, he was Byleth in Three Houses.
Right, yeah, that was another one my friends were talking about.
That's one you fucking know.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god, he has such good range. He was Genos in One Punch Man.
Holy shit.
I would not have picked up that he was
definitely
Genos. He was in Diamond is Unbreakable Part 4. He was Koichi Hirose.
Oh shit. Wow, okay.
There you go. So
yeah, I wouldn't have picked up on that one either.
Very interesting.
Damn.
So, yeah. And when it comes to the voice for Pan, that's a voice that you're going to find very interesting. Her name is Jeannie Tirado. And interestingly enough, in Japanese, Pan and Videl were both played by the same voice actress, Yuko Minaguchi. But when it comes to Jeannie Tirado, you may also know her as Android 21.
Holy shit.
And female Byleth.
Right. Huh. Well,
so
shit.
This is very interesting. I don't know how they cast Fire Emblem Three Houses. I don't know. I thought that was all in L.A. But also interestingly enough, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. And I was just saying how great she was before. Erica Lindbeck was also in Three Houses, I believe.
Right.
Interesting. But either way, I believe she was. But point is that when looking at this amazing crew of voice actors, we can definitely say, as we said before, that it was an amazing film to watch dubbed. Even if you're not like a dub watcher, I still think that it is a really good dubbed film.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I didn't feel like, I not that I wouldn't have liked watching it subbed, because I grew up on both versions. When it comes to the dub, that's the first one I saw on Toonami. But when I was about maybe like 10, my dad got me for my birthday a bunch of Dragon Ball Z movies that I'd never seen before, quote unquote, that were on VCDs, and they turned out to be fan subs.
Right.
And so I saw like GT and a bunch of movies before anyone else did. And I think I've told the story before. People at school were jealous, and I'm not usually the kind of person that's like, they were so jealous, man. But someone literally looked at me angrily and then made up stuff about Dragon Ball Z.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah. Like,
Talk
literally
about that time machine back to 2007.
No. This is when we were like 10. So I'm not gonna fucking beat up an 11-year-old. No, but it was a thing where, like, it was kind of confused me as a kid, and even to this day a little bit, that like this kid, I mean, we're kids, but like this kid was like so upset, thinking maybe that I was lying and I wasn't telling the truth, that he was like, oh yeah, Broly comes back and he's Super Saiyan 6, but he said it to me in a way with anger, and I was like, yeah, man, like, I somehow learned to just be like, sure, dude, whatever, when I'm like 11.
I don't have to be that petty, but sure.
All right, I guess so.
I'll let you do you, I guess.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It was such a weird, that part of the story I don't think I told. It was just so weird because, like it's not that, if he said
weird
it with,
flex,
like...
but I...
Well, no, because if he said it with, like, this glee, like, oh, yeah, man, right, I saw, maybe he, like, got caught up in fake rumors, remember Dragon Ball AF, After Future, April Fools, getting caught up in something like that is fine. You're a kid. We're all kids. But he looked angry. I was
well, because, he wanted to be top dog, and you were stealing his thunder. So
weird. But anyways, but the point is that I grew up on both dubs. So I would love to see this in Japanese. But, man, like, it was really good in English. But we're going to wrap up sooner rather than later. So let's all kick back, let's put some logs in the fire, and let's talk about Kamen Rider. Now, did you notice the kick that they did?
You thought you were gonna get away with a podcast without Matt talking about Kamen Rider, even though it was completely warranted here, because yes, the androids are based like loosely based off Kamen Rider
and Ultraman.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what in the hell
What?
is either one of those if you're not familiar? And it's fine if you're not familiar. They have not gotten, at least Kamen Rider has not gotten a lot of exposure in the U.S. If you're listening to this in the U.S. But, however, it has fairly recently gotten some legal streams for the original shows. These are live-action superheroes in the same genre as Godzilla, as Power Rangers, although Power Rangers is a U.S. adaptation, the same way that Godzilla originally was adapting and dubbing over the original films. And even changing some of the storyline plots. You know, you and I podcasted on the original Godzilla Gogeta, and also the film Godzilla, King of the Monsters, both being a year apart. And
Right.
the US one actually adding in a American dude who's like,
Yeah.
wow. That was
My God.
My God. Anyway, explain things to me, the audience. My name is John Audience. Explain things to me.
Basically.
And so, but the point is that it's in the same genre. It is superhero specifically, but still in the same genre. Ultraman, though, grows large, which is funny how, you know, even though Piccolo, I would argue, wasn't the reference, that was just more kaiju related and Godzilla related. Still, though, there is a lot of stuff that's been inspired by Ultraman that people don't really pick up on if they're not really familiar with the genre, like Evangelion. A lot of people for years talked about how, oh, it's a deconstruction of this, that, and the other thing, when it's also just Anno's love of Ultraman in anime form.
Right. Nice.
And so, yeah, it's very interesting. And so also, if anyone's familiar out there with Kinnikuman or Ultimate Muscle, which is Ultimate Muscle's Kinnikuman Nisei, the sequel, basically the Z to Kinnikuman, that's also because of their heads, based off of Ultraman. And when you look at both franchises, Kamen Rider being in 66, I'm sorry, in 71, Ultraman being in 66, they are really the grandfathers of Japanese superheroes. There's superheroes older than them, of course, but they are the grandfathers to where when you see a lot of references to stuff, superheroes, you know, Moomin Rider in One Punch Man, Great Saiyaman and his design in Dragon Ball Z, as well as Great Saiyawoman, who I believe in the Japanese version are both Great Saiyaman number 1 and number 2, of reference to Kamen Rider Ichigo and Nigo, Ichigo being number 1, Nigo being number 2. Kamen Rider 1 and 2, the original two Kamen Riders, originally meant to be one, but then the actor got hurt on set, so they quickly had to do a little replacement act there, but did it in a way where they didn't have someone else play the role. They just said, there's another Kamen Rider now. And that started a tradition that, yes, because they had to, literally the actor doing a stunt got hurt on his bike.
Right, yeah.
So they just had to write him out real quick on a weekly show. And they only had like 2 episodes filmed in advance. So they had someone else dub over his own voice. Not that back then they didn't have the mics on set, so they all dubbed over their own voices. But they had someone else dub over his voice.
Right.
It was weird. And they had to quickly write him off. They brought him back later, but they had to write him off real quick. Kamen Rider 1971, as it's colloquially known as now because of when it was released, is available legally in the US. You can watch it legally, which is cool. But either way,
Nice.
when you see that their names are Gamma number 1 and Gamma number 2, it's clear. The Rider Kick is a staple of the series.
Yeah.
It's clear.
The only thing that I was really disappointed with was
What?
that we didn't get a double rider kick from Gamma 1 and 2.
Yes, that is
Missed
also
opportunity.
that is also a staple of the series as well, at least with the original 2.
Yeah.
That is definitely a staple. You normally, like, Rider has gone through a ton of different changes throughout the years. It's still going to this day. There was a brief break, a bit like Doctor Who, but since the year 2000 with Kamen Rider Kuga, also thankfully legally available via streaming and also on Blu-ray. Since that show, it's gone yearly, like 50 some odd episodes per year since, which is pretty fucking cool. Ultraman, bit of a weirder history with air dates and, you know, and continuity. When it comes to Kamen Rider, it's continuity usually, but not always is, oh, is there a special where they're all fucking around? No? Then just they're all doing their own shit. They're not in the same world, usually. Ultraman they are technically always in the same world, and you have a lot of cameos, so it can seem a bit more dense. But thankfully, Subaraya, which, by the way, Tristan, you know this, but some of you might not know it there, Eiji Subaraya, before creating Ultraman, created Godzilla. So he's the grandfather of both. But either way, though, Subaraya has made a huge concerted effort to bring Ultraman to the US. There are literally, like, as of the last few years, 36 releases between shows and movies on Blu-ray of Ultraman content.
Holy shit.
And they're on streaming as well. Many of them.
Sweet.
So, and Subaraya currently through their YouTube channel has the latest show weekly in English.
Damn.
Subaraya and Mill Creek, the company that's working with them, that's licensing it from them,
Right.
definitely wants that character to be out. Tristan, you and I in the past talked about on Keikaku Corner, a not so short-lived podcast that we did on news that became way too hard to talk about that news on a weekly or monthly basis. But when we were doing it for those few years, you and I talked about the lawsuit with Chayo.
Right.
Yes, the Chayo, the Chayo, the company that claimed that no, we own the rights to Ultraman. Eiji Subaraya's son gave us the rights, and like it was hotly contested in courts. Finally, Subaraya won the court cases, saying no, we have the fucking rights, you assholes.
Yeah.
So initially, what was happening was it looked like Chayo, quote unquote, had the rights to like the Shawa, the earlier stuff,
Right.
but the Heisei and onward was Subaraya, but they didn't want to touch it for the most part. Foxbox, for kids, did have Ultraman Tiga dubbed in like a half serious, half parody dub back in the day. Funimation worked with 4Kids to release the DVD volumes, and I have them all,
Oh dear God.
but they don't really, Subaraya doesn't really mention them anymore.
No.
They did release some movies with other companies in the US, but like licensed, but they don't really mention those anymore. They're just focusing on their now effort to have the shows and the movies and other crossovers and stuff be released in the US on Blu-ray and streaming. And I can't buy them all. But that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to give you all that context in case you don't know, because it's fascinating. I highly suggest checking out the shows if you're interested in seeing some of the work with models and the suit work and the stunt work, and just seeing something that's in the superhero genre but isn't like Marvel, DC, or other live action. It's not to be snobby about it. It's just it was doing essentially the Arrowverse and other, and you know, the Marvel MCU shows and the Disney current TV show model before they were. Not
Right.
that there never were any other shows, but having such an expanded universe, not always referencing it, but having such an expanded universe for the last 50 years now is fascinating. And
Yeah.
if you're a fan of Anno's work on Evangelion, he's directing the new Kamen Rider movie, which is a reboot of the original film. The original show from 71. I think I sent you the trailer.
Yeah.
But either way, fascinating stuff. We're going to end it there. I highly recommend checking it out. If you want to see weirdness, check out the 71 and the 66 Kamen Rider and Ultraman respectively. And if you want to check out something a bit more J-drama-esque, a bit more modern, Kamen Rider Kuga in the year 2000, Ultraman Tiga in the late 90s. And if you want brand spanking new, Subaraya on their YouTube channel has newer Ultraman. And when it comes to Kamen Rider, the latest one was 01, currently available, like the latest one that Shout Factory has from 2021, currently streaming legally through like Tubi and their own little like website, Shout Factory, kind of like a service, but not really, because it's free with ads, and also on Blu-ray as well. So we're gonna end Dragon Ball Superhero on that. Does it feel weird saying superhero? I can never get used to it.
No, it's kind of grown on me.
Okay. So the super duper hero, and I cannot recommend this film enough.
Yeah, same. The fact that Gohan literally uses the special beam cannon to finish things off at the end made my heart explode.
The choreography, I can't talk enough. I already have about the voiceover work. The attention to detail in ways that they didn't need to.
Yeah.
And the motivations. Everyone's motivations seem like, I already mentioned like, oh, this seemed like an issue or that seemed like an issue. But when you talk about the actual character work and their motivations, everyone felt right. Everyone did what it feels like they would do in that situation.
Yeah.
And that's very hard to do, especially when you jump back to when these movies, Dragon Ball, were 50 minutes long.
Right, exactly.
Very hard to do. It was basically just, we gotta fight. Goku can't turn Super Saiyan yet, and here it is.
Yeah.
Now he did.
Right.
Goku win.
Yeah, I was definitely glad to see a bit more, slice of life in there, but still having, the climactic battle and having the action that Dragon Ball is known for.
Honestly, the slice of life stuff, some of the best stuff in Super.
Oh, definitely. Hands down.
Yeah. So, thank you all so much for watching, for listening. Hopefully you watched the film. Hopefully you watched Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and maybe even a little bit of Japanese Power Rangers Super Sentai. Wink. And thank you all for listening in. So love you all, take care, and tune in next time for something completely different. So,
you all were the superhero all along.
You were the sometimes the superheroes are really the superheroes we meet along the way.
We are all the superhero.
Yeah. All right, goodbye, everybody.